Hello legends, hope you're doing well. Let me show you different steps that you can use on Abyss. Let's start with the A site. First, use this camera.
This goes here.
This one show you site and so on. The first tripwire,
Yes,
use it
this
here.
should do.
The second one, use it here. Throw your cage there and play it from here. For the second setup, use this camera. Your tripwire, your first tripwire here.
This is a nice spot.
Second tripwire
That goes
is
there.
here. You can play this from backside here, or you can play it from tower,
This goes
like
here.
this. Or you can throw here
This is a
and
nice
play it
spot.
from here. For the third setup, let's use this camera again.
Yes, this should do.
Your first tripwire
That
here,
goes there.
second tripwire,
This goes
here.
here.
and play this from tower.
Yes, this should do.
For the fourth setup, let's use this camera again.
Goes there.
Your first tripwire here,
This is a nice spot.
second tripwire
Yes,
here,
should do.
and play it from here with your cage here. For the fifth setup, we will use this camera,
This goes here.
then use this tripwire,
This is a nice spot.
and second tripwire, we will use it here as a double trip.
Yes, this should do.
Have your cage here, and play it from here. With the camera, you can see people if they are main or not. For the sixth setup, we'll use this camera.
This goes here.
Your first tripwire goes here,
This is a nice spot.
second one goes here.
That goes there.
This setup is for players that dash like Jet, Raze, and Waylay.
Yes, this should do.
Have your cage here and play from here. For the seventh setup, use this camera again.
This is a nice spot.
Your first tripwire goes here,
That goes there.
second tripwire
Yes,
goes here, and play it from up here.
this goes here.
For the eighth setup, use this camera again. This is the best one because I use it a lot. Now your first tripwire
That
goes here, second tripwire
Yes,
goes here.
do. This goes here.
Have a cage here and cage
This
here,
is a nice spot.
and play from back here. Let's say you want to hold people who are lurking. If you want to close a vent,
That goes there.
use this tripwire. And if you want to close a link from mid, use this tripwire.
Yes, this should do.
B side has speed reward, so I have a different setup for it. Let's start with the first setup. Jump here,
That
have
goes
your
there.
camera here. This one show your sight and everything. For your first tripwire, use
This
this
is a
one.
nice spot.
Second tripwire,
Yes,
use this one. Have your cage here
here.
and play it from here. For the second setup, we will use the same camera. Jump here, have your camera here. Your first tripwire
This is
is
a nice
here.
spot.
Second tripwire is
This
here.
goes here.
Have your cage here
Yes, this should do.
and play from here. For the third setup, we will use this camera. This camera
That goes
gets you
there.
early information, so make sure you use it sometimes to gather information early if you're playing alone or something. For the first tripwire, we will use this one to help people entering from this area. The second one, we will use this one.
This goes here.
Have your cage here
That goes
and your
there.
cage here and play it from here. For the fourth setup, we will use this camera again.
Yes, this should do.
Have your tripwire here,
This goes here.
and your second tripwire
This
here.
is a nice spot.
Have your cage here and play from here. When you trigger it, you can take them down. For the fifth setup, let's say your team
This goes here.
is holding this area and you want to hold this area. Use this tripwire,
Goes there.
then secondly, use this one.
This should do.
Have your cage here. When they try to enter, you can take them down from the first one. If they go deep, you can take them down with the second one. For the sixth setup, we'll use this camera again. The first tripwire goes here.
This should do.
Second one
This
goes here. We will use double trips here because they will try to go behind. So have your cage here
This is a nice spot.
and play from here. These are extra steps that you can use when the barrier drop. For this one, use this tripwire. When they try to jump fast, they will trigger it. Sometimes fall, sometimes they find it. Second one, use this one to hold them early. And also, there's a tripwire here for people who dash in, like Jet or Whaley. If you want to close mid from B-Link, just use this tripwire.
This goes here.
And that's it. That's way, if they try to enter, they will need to break this tripwire and you will get information. Now for attack, if you want to tripwire that hold flanks and so on. For S site, use this tripwire. Make sure it's head level so they don't jump over it or go under it. Let's say you want to get information for your team. If you go in with them, you can use this camera to see people in tower
Plant the spike.
or inside. If this area is smoked and you want to check if there's someone sneaking here or so on, you can use this one. You will be able to see them and give the information for your team. For B side, you need double tripwires to hold flank. The first one, use it here. Make sure it's head level. The second one, we will use it in B bend. Make sure it's head level as well. If you don't have double trips, just use this one. It's enough to hold them off because this is the shortest route to get into flank rather than going all the way from spawn. If you're going with your team in B site and want to check information for them, you can use this camera. You can see people in tower if there's someone inside. Or you can play this camera to check and also be safer for you. You can also check people in tower here and if there's someone sneaking here or hiding. That's all for today. Let me know what you think about the guide, and if you have any question, please make sure to leave a comment so I will answer you anytime. I always answer to my comments. And also, you can suggest to me which map you want me to cover next, and like and subscribe for more.